Morning, y'all. I'm still home alone. More club testing today. Mizuno MP18 MMCs we're going to try today. Yesterday's question was interesting. Lots of people tried blades, which was interesting, and lots actually use them, which was fun to hear that you're experimenting. Not many people knew the percentage drop-off from cavities to blades, and it's something that no one really talks about because it's very hard to measure. I've got some stuff coming on that soon, hopefully. So today's question, are you a member of a golf club? If you are a member of a golf club, why? Let me know. What makes you join the club? And if you're watching and you're not a member of a golf club, tell me what makes you choose not to be a member of a golf club. How many of you out there are actually members and enjoying members' facilities and comps and those kind of things? And how many of you are just happy playing with your mates? Down there, hit that comment section up, thumbs up as always. Don't be afraid to thumbs up the daily vlogs and hit that subscribe button.
Hello.
Morning, coach.
Alright.
How was your holiday?
Lovely.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, Universal. Been there.
We're just having a drink.
I've been there.
I did the Mummy Returns, which is like an indoor roller coaster, and that was pretty brave. We're in the queue, right? We're in the queue, and we're literally 2 people from getting on, and all the lights came on, and it was shut down.
Ah.
Technical difficulties. I said to Eldest, like, I don't mind if the ice cream machine has technical difficulties, like you just get a runny whippy, but like if the roller coaster gets technical difficulties, that worries me a little. Right, today's swing is going to be a simple one. This player struggles with low point. He's struggling with consistency, he calls it. That is a duff. That is a fat shot. So we're going to talk about ways of trying to deal with low point, dealing with trying to control and understand how the club contacts the ground, how you can control it or not. Some simple ideas that you can take to the course and actually start improving your strikes. So first ideas, and I do this with students so much, and it always amazes me how they haven't ever thought about practicing this way. I practice low point. I practice landing the club on different parts of the ground. So just here on the flat, I'm going to practice trying to brush the ground in a certain spot. I'm actually going to try and hit that ground in a pretty exacting spot, flat lie. Then I'm going to challenge myself a bit more. So how fast can I swing? Make that ball not move, just literally glance top. That's like a foot above my feet. That one doesn't win me any friends. But can you see what I mean? I'm practicing getting the bottom of that club to interact with the ground at different levels, different forms of pressure as well, isn't there? Because some things I don't care if I mark, like the football, I don't care if I hit it where the table. Got to be really careful with the table. So I'm not saying you go out and do that on your table, but it gives you an idea, and if you feel confident enough, give it a go. It's a great way to practice feeling how you're landing the club in relationship to the ground, what kind of things you do with your body. Do you feel like you're taller or lower? Feel like you're pulling the handle up, pushing it down, all those kind of ideas. Generally you're pulling it up. Well, physically you are pulling it up, but that's the feeling most people get. We're going to go into a few more technical things as well, but this is the great starting point. I do this with loads of students, and as you can imagine, they're not so skilled at landing that club in different situations. Right, at Dawlish, testing these kids. Right, next idea I want you to think about, and this works for, I would say, at some point for high 90s in percentage of golfers, it helps improve their interaction with the ground. Certainly if they tend to be a bit duffy. So we see this golfer want to go more this way than this way, but what I like the players to really focus on to try and get hitting the ground in a better place, kind of more to the ball and a head feeling. I try to get them to focus about their left side, so knee, hip, shoulder, all up through their left side. So I like to get players thinking of more rotation on the way down, so hips and shoulders opening up more rather than this desire to thrust. But at the same time, and this is what throws them, I want them to feel like they're really stretching up their left side. So left shoulder's going up, left hip going up, left knee straightening and going up almost as they come in to hit the ball. And at the beginning this worries them because up makes them feel like they're going to top it, and they're already worried of duffing it, they don't want to top it. But what it tends to do, getting the feeling of left side stretching up on the downswing, gets the hands lower earlier in the swing, which then allows them to pull their hands up and through to hit the ball. This is what often encourages better turf interaction, with strikes being low points kind of getting ahead of the ball. You need your hands getting to their low point around right hip, then they're actually going up and left. That's what's throwing the club down. So hands up pushes the club down. This is a common issue I see with people trying to keep their hands going down if they're topping, and then in turn often thinking if they're fatting it like this player, like postures, everything, standing tall or standing too close. I can stand too close, too far, I can stand too tall, too low, and I can still interact with the ground because I get a good strong relationship between hands getting towards their low point and going up, which gives me a good relationship between the club getting to its low point and going down. Up through the left side, feel like left side's really tilting up, totally transformed strike for golfers.
Let's answer your questions.
Hey Rob, question for you. I was on the practice range today and I was hitting with my 7-iron and I was trying just 3/4 swings to warm up, perfect straight shots. I then went to do full swings and I was pushing them to the right. I don't know, 20 yards. Help me, you're my only hope.
Help me, everyone, you're my only hope. So look, people have a relationship with power, and what I mean by that is I see lots of raised handle deliveries. So if you start raising the handle, you're going to change where the face points and how then in turn you control the face down through the ball. When you ask people to pick up speed, so for instance they don't do it when they hit a 60-yard pitch, but they severely raise the handle when they try to hit their driver a long way. Someone's drilling next door. So what happens is their interpretation of putting force, power, speed through that shaft encourages them to move it, then in turn the face in a way that makes it hard to control it to the path. So when you do your smaller shots, what happens is you tend to maybe not put the forces through the shaft that way, not stand it up as much, and then you can control the face to the path a little bit more. So this is often commonly done with people standing the shaft up compared to not. The other thing I always think that's quite interesting as well is if you hit such great shots with half swings, maybe measure what your half swing actually is. Is your half swing shots going that much smaller than not? So what I've done with lots of people who struggle with this is I get them to do what they think is a half swing and actually it's not, and the speed kind of changes maybe by 2 miles an hour, but their face to path control is so much better that they don't care that sacrifice of 2 miles an hour, and they can quite often pick that 2 miles an hour up because they start to trust that the ball's going to go where they want it to go with a weird small feeling swing, and then they pick the speeds up by using their body maybe quicker, those kind of ideas. So really I would analyse if what your half swing actually is, how much shorter the shots are going. If they are still going offline, think about your shaft pitch on the way down, and most importantly I'd go and get a lesson and talk this through with a coach. They'd be able to measure and see exactly what is causing the good and bad shots. So hopefully from today you'll realise that practicing low point, forward or behind the ball, and up and down, so how far up your club is or down it is a skill, or one that you should be thinking about and practicing if you don't do it by simply not thinking about it. Does that make sense? If it's not something that comes natural to you, then you are going to have to think and play with ideas that do make it kind of under your control a bit more. This all needs some serious tidying up. That one needs playing with as well this week. Thanks all for watching, see you tomorrow. Now look, I'm getting loads of great questions, so if you've got a question you want to ask me, put it in a video format, so you can put it in my messages on Facebook, you can go on Instagram and put it in a message as a private message, or just post it on my timeline on Twitter. Social links in. Also, all of next week's swings are going to come from Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram at Crossfield Mark, make sure you are, and just post me your swings as a message. I will pick them up, and the best ones that will hopefully tell a story to help you lot, I'll choose, and that'll be in next week's daily vlogs. And the remainder of this week's if you do it this week. Team Parfield home tomorrow. The tidy up begins.